And Craig, just jump right back on. Just try to get right back on again, and it will be fine. Now, also, Ree Anderson, she's a psychologist. She has many degrees in this. She's done architectural work on mansions from around the world, and really stands out in the community as a person that knows how to transform people's lives. And I am so grateful to have Ree here as well. So, Craig, are you being able to get on here? Yay! Just keep jumping off and jumping back on. We still got a couple of minutes, so you'll get locked in. Oh, we have a lot of people coming on here. Here we go. There you go. Ree is here too. Ree, I really look at that. There we go. It's a beautiful day in Southern California, and we have this wonderful Craig Collins. Come on, man! You have been on TED Talk. You've been a lot of places. So, what inspired you to actually do the universal reading method, and what is the feelings that you're getting from the people that you're actually serving? That's a big one right there. What are they saying about you, Craig? And then we have Anderson. Oh my gosh, what an honor it is. It is an honor.
Sorry, I wanted to turn on some lights and see if it helped to have a little bit clearer view of me.
It's a really great day. My name is Robert Allen McCrae. I'm here with Craig Collins and Ree Anderson. Ree, can you hear us okay? Yeah, you need a.
Can you hold on just
so you're not so dark?
Yeah, I want to turn some lights on. I'm sorry.
Really appreciate that Buddha behind you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I can hear you.
I got it. I got him in there. I got him in the room. Robert, my square has an X on it. It says I'm on the air.
You are.
But there's an X though, as though I could blip myself off.
Do you see yourself?
Yes.
Well, then you're good.
Okay. Well,
the X is just, you could X yourself off if you touched that X, but you have no reason to touch that.
I'm just warning you. And of course, if the suction cup that's holding the phone in a stand, if that comes unglued, this is all going to fall down. So
no,
but I can get it put back up. It's tight right now.
Oh, it's good. Ree, right now you're in a really good place. And I really appreciate you because you've got the wisdom here that understands this reading method, because you know the conventional method that we as children, we as adults have learned all our lives. But guess what? You understand the universal reading method and how it shifted many people's lives, including your daughter's life. And you see how it's adapted and how easy it can in 3 hours can shift a lot of people's lives. And that is remarkable. And you've actually looked into it and you experienced it yourself. And what a gift. And how it would, actually shift and make a difference in somebody's life, where they could actually start reading again and be inspired and see and vision. They can envision their goals and envision a possibility that they could have a really fun and fulfilled life with themselves. And I would like to hear a few things on that. Ree, if you had a moment just to, give us some insight of how this reading method really works.
Well, I regret that Craig is still trying to get the light on in his villa.
Well, tell me a little bit about you and why you, because you've done so much in your life. So let us have a little story about you, Ree, for right now.
Well, I've attempted to stay on the cutting edge of all that is new or that caught my interest, and it's been quite a ride. The most exciting thing about this reading method for me is that, of course, it teaches you to read. I mean, guaranteed, 2.5 hours, sometimes 3, depending on your startup time.
Didn't you have a story around your daughter, how you helped her get?
I don't want to get into personal things, thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about all that I've worked with.
No, yesterday you're darker.
You're still dark.
Okay, I'm hoping that that's
better. Sorry.
You got a black face and darker. You're not black.
How strange. Hold on.
That helps. That's going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome, everybody. You guys can also put information in the chats. You can give us hands. There's a little set of hands up there on each one of our squares. Anybody in the audience right now can actually press hands on either Craig, Ree Anderson, or Robert Allen McCrae, and kind of set up little blab etiquette. Put information of what questions in the chat so we can ask these guys. These are the experts. They've been on this crusade, if you would, on shifting people that haven't been able to read before to be able to read and shift their lives and to create a vision and goals for themselves again and really transform their lives. And these guys have been well experienced in relating to situations where people haven't been able to read, and all of a sudden in 3 hours they've shifted their lives and they've got a whole brand new world. And that is why Ree Anderson is here today, and Craig is the one that actually developed, and with his brother, a method, and it's called the reading method. And I am so honored to have him here today and explaining in detail on how that process really works for somebody and how it makes a difference in their being able to read. And Ree?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. As I said, I have been on the cutting edge of things that interested me in the field of psychology for years now. And once 3-4 times a decade, I'd go, there's got to be more. There's got to be. We've come a long way since Freud, but there's got to be more. We've had a lot of successes, but it's the failures, of course, that teach us and bother me. So I would ask this question, what next, until maybe sometimes it took 4 years for something to come to my attention. Yeah. And so along came this man on the forgiveness list with Pamela Gregory. And I was reading the post. I had joined the group at her invitation and was reading the post. This Craig Collins kept popping up. So I got very interested in some of his posts, and I contacted him and just ran right smack into the Universal Reading Method and took it. I do experience the things myself before I offer them to people, if possible. And even today, when I sit with a student and watch the program all over again and experience the subjective in the person going through it, because they're not allowed, they're asked not to talk, but just to listen and to be prompted by what to do as we go through the tape. And as I watch it, even today, I'm absolutely just in awe of what the two men have done. It is incredible, incredious, what they have offered the world. And as I sit there and I get over my awness, I go, why hasn't somebody thought of this before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's very comprehensive.
Yeah.
And it's very deep. And it's absolute accurate. And I'm convinced also that prior to this, we have been taught to read by memorizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm big on how to. I want to know how something's done. I want to know how to think. I want to know how to read. And these two men have given us, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the how to read the English language.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a gift to the world. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you details, of course, because I can't give the secret away or the secrets, but it is incredible. It's just still today has me in awe. And what, as a psychotherapist, I found as I put through people I had worked with, do work with, and I went through it. Greg, there's no light on your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's better.
I can't get any more light. It'd be great if I could do that.
Anyway,
okay, Greg.
Shall I continue?
Absolutely, please.
Okay. What I am, well, hands down, of course, it will teach a person to read the English language, how to read it,
That's really awesome.
Yes. And what I found as a psychotherapist and my experience going through this was that I felt in my brain as though doors opened. Doors that I didn't know were there. And with that opening came a feeling, a sensation of space. And of course, one of the things we say is for those that have some years behind them is that it'll defrag your brain just like you defrag your computer. And the feeling in the brain is one of space. It's just incredible. And I've watched people move up to an invisible door. I could see the anger coming. Because I'm trained in NLP. I read the subjective language. I'm not mind reading.
Right. Yeah.
And I see the stop, and then I see them go through that in just a few seconds. With Craig still teaching on the method, see them move through that anger, and the soft tears start. And in a little bit, in thinking about this, the soft tears have started here because it was so awesome. In a little bit, a hand wipes the tears away, and they take a breath, and they're back with him. Now, that's incredible. I don't know what the person moved through. I don't have to know. I just know they went through an emotional, psychological block. That's pretty incredible in psychotherapy.
Well, thank you, Ree. Ree is amazing. I'm getting some feedback. I don't know why. But anyway, Ree is amazing. And when she works with a student, and doesn't necessarily mean that they can't read. They have other issues.
I'm able to hear you. It's not the best.
Are you hearing my feedback?
It's not as clear as yesterday. I mean, yesterday was perfect.
Yeah, where were you? You were perfect yesterday, my friend. You're like.
I think I need to go off and
Are you at the same desk?
Back on.
Are you at the same desk?
I can hear you, Craig.
Maybe that will work.
No? Yeah. We're here. So
can
go
you
ahead,
hear me?
Rhea. It's that is insightful, because understanding that they are what you were saying was really, really, really powerful. So really awesome with. Explain us, like we're having a little difficulty with Craig getting on here, and it was perfect yesterday. He was the one. You were the one we were
with the problems. Yes. And he's far better at technology than I am.
And you're sitting there, actually perfect. I can see the little Buddha in the background. I can see
it's not a little Buddha.
No, that's
just the Buddha.
But it's like a little subliminal thing that's sitting on your shoulders. That's really cute. I've never had that before. It's really good. So, Ree, just go into that deeper with us. And why we're trying to get Craig on here was really important. And as soon as he figures that out. Give us some stories around where some of the people that it's worked for.
Well, I think, again, I want to emphasize that whatever happens for that person is effortlessly done. It comes as a result of going through the method, in addition to learning how to read. It's a side effect that no one had, to my knowledge, had paid much attention to. I mean, we knew that some miracles were happening for the person, but I think I can track it quite closely and am just overjoyed for what happens for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people call me now and say, first of all, they want to know, what do you charge? And can you help me? And, they don't give me their age, their marital status, their education, their career. So from how much do you charge? I'm supposed to know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
But so what I do now is introduce them to the reading method and suggest that that's the first thing they do, because my work will be so much easier, or unnecessary afterwards.
Yeah, so
not always, but not always. But for some people, it's just it's the vehicle that they needed to get some type of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Freer. And one young man, quite brilliant and quite educated, said that at one point he felt as though he was learning a foreign language, and the newness of it is like a foreign language.
Mm.
And of course, the 144 rules that usually are the exceptions to how we're taught the English language grammar, it's reduced to something like 7.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The exceptions are the rules are down to about. I wish Craig were on so he could back me up or correct me. I think there's 7 rules, and the exceptions are just very small and very sure about how to accept. And English is the most difficult language to learn in that the words sound. There are several words that sound exactly alike, like weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so you spell it, you don't know whether it's W-E-I-G-H-T or W-A-R-T.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some that's 3 and 4 times. It sounds like, but spells differently. It's very confusing, especially to a foreigner trying to learn this language.
Wow.
Because there's so many duplications in the sound, but spells and put it in certain contexts, you can figure out whether it's wait for me or wait on the scales, okay, or wait at the grocery store, in the way of your meat or vegetables. So when I say that this work is comprehensive, I don't know of any exception that has not been taken care of, not been covered. I don't know of any deficit. It's comprehensive. You will know how to read the English language when you finish. And if you're already a reader of the English language, you're in for a treat.
So the way the method has processes in it that get your mind. It awakens other aspects of your mind.
Okay, thank you. Yes, there's pilot research has been done, and more money available to continue the research work at UCSD with the fMRI. And the fMRI has been used to test a student prior to this method and test again after the method. And what it's showing is that the two areas of the brain is an organ, it is alive, all parts of it alive. But there are two areas in the brain that wake up after this process. And it's thus far without exception that the Broca's and the occipital part of the brain suddenly begin to send messages to the frontal cortex for the first time.
I have a question here, Irene. Or I have a question here from Irene. Can you explain what exactly the reading method is?
No. It is a method by which when you finish, you know how to read the English language. How to read it.
So
not memorized.
Not memorized.
Right. Not memorized. As children, we see we're shown a live cat, for instance. We're shown a picture of a cat. We see C-A-T. We learn the sound cat goes with that animal. It's memory. And for those who can't read, that are labeled dyslexic, they kind of guess as to what that word, the meaning of the whole sentence is.
Yes.
And
I do that.
Okay, all right. And you've had the method.
Yeah.
You've been through the method.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I would anticipate what they're reading rather than reading it.
There you go. You'd guess.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, do I have to read this whole thing? I don't have the patience for this. But yeah, not feeling into the words that the person used and the sounds, and this method being able to, it opened up different, it triggered different aspects. Yeah.
Opens up, triggers.
Ah.
There, okay.
Happens. So, yeah, didn't it? It did for me.
Effortlessly.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird. Because it's like a new place in my thoughts that was, oh, I can do this? And that's all I have to do is just look at this and it sounds itself out. But for dyslexia or ADD people, I'm better at communicating, and then sometimes, it's
a gift. I would say it's a bridge, but that limits that limits even what it does. It's more than a bridge. It's just an opening, as you say. It's a trigger that opens up. Would you say new vistas that triggers the understanding of what the reading is all about.
Because I've read a certain, and I've got to read this, and I've got to understand this and comprehend it 2 or 3 or 4 times. I'm reading the same paragraph,
and suddenly comprehension becomes something you don't even think about.
Yeah, way different.
I get I'm on Thumbtack, and the people want the child to know they're slow in reading, or can't read, or lacking comprehension, and there's one more trigger that they want covered. And if you stay with the horse and buggy days, you're going to keep the child struggling. This is like space age. You step into space age with this. The comprehension is a given when you can read what the sentence said.
Wow.
I mean, I heard it when you were talking about it, Robert, that your comprehension had gone up, no telling how many levels.
It was just because of the way it felt inside my thinking process.
And then when you felt that was a change we're talking about, that the fMRI records. That's when we know you got it, when you feel that in your brain. And it's probably different for everybody. I don't know. I'm not in their brain.
Right.
But each person experienced something changed in my brain. Something happened.
I have another question. I thought this blab was about psychic reading. That's what they thought this blab. This is just a question. I thought this blab is about psychic. Sometimes I'd let the questions go, but this is not about psychic. But it's about understanding how to use your own mind to interpret psychic information.
You will definitely have a broader comprehension.
There you go. Okay.
Understanding of what you're dealing with. I mean, I don't. People ask me if I'm psychic, and I go, "Well, no, I don't think so." But I know that there are people who excel in that, and there will be an improvement in how they do that, how they go about that, how they perceive it, because there'll be a difference in their brain when they finish. Two areas of the brain for the first time in your life will be feeding forward information to the frontal cortex that it has not had from those 2 areas before. So it's a gift to the frontal cortex. It takes a load off of their quote understanding. It gives them more. The frontal cortex gets more feedback from different areas of the brain than it has before. So the young man that said he felt like he was learning a new language asked me, do you think that those 2 areas were open at birth, and maybe a trauma closed them down, or traumas closed them down? Good question. But as we went back through with Craig, I went back through with Craig, and he's in touch with Dr. Swartz, and the fMRI, we think that those 2 areas of brain have never been forward feeding information to the cortex until now. Why with this, we don't know, but we know what is.
With this, meaning the reading method has activated that.
Right. We have no idea how come. It was kind of a bonus. And perhaps UCLA, UCSD will have more information as we go along on this. But that there's a change, painless, effortless change in the brain. We are sure of that in 2 areas of the brain. That's pretty significant.
Very significant, especially if you're talking about a method that that
no pills, no knife, no anesthesia.
That's huge.
It's really huge.
Yes. That we can actually do this because of our thoughts, and we're triggering different parts of our brain to stimulate our thought process and our understanding of the written word.
Okay, let me give you my kindergarten explanation about this. It's like we get born, and from 0 to 6 or 7 years of age, we think in concrete thoughts. You know, I had asked someone to go get a book for me, and I described it as having a black front and the words that were on the front and the colors that went in the black. And the answer was, "Oh, you mean the square book?" Well, that's the first time I had noticed that the book was square.
Wow.
It had not come to my conscious mind. That's concrete thinking. That's why children are so much fun. They think concretely. Well, if things go along well, the brain develops to the place by 6 or 7 that it begins to abstract. And in NLP, we call this the left lobe and the right lobe, and we have favorites. And there's a corpus callosum, an X in the middle of the head that's we're supposed to cross from one lobe to the other. This is whole brain synchrony to get information processed from both lobes simultaneously. Now that goes into open focus and Dr. Les Femi, so I won't go there today. But all people think in concrete terms from up to 6 or 7 years of age. Some go on into abstract, some don't. And then we have more left brain, and for me, I was more right brain till I taught myself how to think, or was taught how to think at the left lobe. All right, so we go to the kindergarten or first grade, and the teacher doesn't sit us down and say, "Well, what did you do? How did you handle your puppy dog dying? And what happened to you when your mom and dad divorced? Or how did you manage your grandpa dying?"
Mm-hmm.
They just start to teach the reading, writing, arithmetic, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Mm-hmm.
Teach it in a song and sequence. And so it's like pylons get put into the concrete, learning pylons, and it's stuck there. And this method makes that concreteness fluid.
Mm. Wow.
That's my experience, is that what was concrete becomes pliable, proving the plasticity of the brain. Mm-hmm. That it becomes fluid, and they go, "Oh, well, now, that this and this and this, but now we're in the space age. We're into fluidity. We're into the possibility of seeing change and creativity and possibilities." Mm-hmm. Opens up so many possibilities for the people. Mm-hmm. My tears are of joy. This gift is this great to the world. Mm-hmm. Next deal is to get it out to the world, to let the world know about this. And thank you, Robert. This is a fine beginning.
Mm. The other sweet thing, through your life and understanding, when did you actually come into understanding the universal reading method?
What do I do?
When did you come in touch with it?
I've been almost 2 years ago. See, the men have researched this for 10 years. It's been laborious. The technology alone about how to present it, doing the tape that Craig has done, and fine-tuning that, and getting it so that it could go online. It's been an incredible amount of work to get this ready. So they've worked 10 years, and I've been not quite 2 years with it.
Incredible. So if you had this 30 years ago, or even 40 years ago, what would you say to somebody?
If I'd had it as a child, the sky would have been the limit. What would I have? I have taught people to read years ago. I had one person in particular that was brought in by her mom and was 15 years old and, quote, couldn't read. And somehow we managed to get her, quote, to read. But I was limited in that I was taught also to read from memory.
Wow, me too.
And so, yes, and I'm sure that that's what I taught her too. But it managed as well as other classmates. So that was a big step for her.
Wow.
At that time. But this is just from horse and buggy to on the moon with this method. And so the next question is, will it transfer into other languages? Well, the prerequisite is you must know the English alphabet for this to work. And some languages don't have an alphabet. So whether it will go further than the English language, I don't have the answer to that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Craig about it. But it has come up. It's just going to transfer to other languages. And definitely the language would have to have an alphabet because this is based on the English alphabet.
Wow, that is powerful, just that distinction.
And if the little one is not old enough to know the alphabet yet, then I ask them to wait until they do. Come to me knowing the alphabet, and then we'll go through the method.
And that's the distinction that really can set them up, that would make reading fun.
Fun and intriguing and exciting, and the results would be an understanding of the world that you hence did not have. A
fully understanding, whether they could read about a recipe that they would want to make for dinner tonight, to reading about a novel that would enhance their ability to be more sexual to their partner, to actually having a career that's fulfilling, that they feel that they really could master now because they can actually have the ability to read, and they get it fulfilling.
They would select their career with far more wisdom.
Because,
because they can pull the understanding in.
Yes.
And not guess. And not be 15 years down the road and say, my God, I'm in the wrong profession. I really wanted to be a concert pianist or an artist or a mechanic or whatever.
Wow, that's simple. Yeah, because you simply get the comprehension of the word and the meaning behind the person that actually wrote the word. That's pretty significant. And we're taught in school to learn our ABCs, but then we had to sound out all those words and memorize them and speed read 123 words a minute.
Yeah.
I can remember that one. God, I was a fast reader. Everybody else passing me up.
But had you really and again, Robert, to understand, meaning is context dependent.
Same as truth. What is truth? It's all, what is truth? Yes. Everybody has their own truth.
And once you learn how to read and you know how to read, you're going to figure out the context pretty fast, I think. And that all meaning is context dependent to know. Okay.
So the context is it's the framework for the content.
Yes. Well said.
Well, thank you. It's really the depth of understanding what it would mean. Hearing it back from you is like, it's very powerful. And anybody listening in, understanding what it would do for someone else would enhance that ability for them to have a very special gift in their life to,
and for self. Yes.
yeah,
for someone else and for self.
And for their own self, because you gave them their life.
Let's get us into the picture.
Yeah. Thank you. For ourselves. We would be really happy for them to feel the happiness behind the gift of what the reading method, and how it would actually inspire a growth in a way that your conscious mind and what you could do with it, and your abilities and your goals and your planning of how you can treat other people on the planet, it'd just be exponential. From what little bit that you've told me and my experience with it, that's powerful. And thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Very good. Craig, are you going to try to get on here one more time?
Please, my friend.
Just,
I need you.
Just click on here one more time. It's we want you to just jump on and say hello. So, I really appreciate how you explained it and how it would really benefit somebody in their lives. And how do you work with clients, and how do you let them get enrolled in your program?
Well, usually they email me or call on the phone, hear about me some way, or find me Google me on the internet. And the first thing I have to do is experience them. I don't need a lot of time, but I can't tell them over the phone exactly what I'm going to do. I have many modalities behind me, and I use whichever one works the best and the quickest. And I discern that within the first few minutes of them being in front of me. And then I say, well, we could do it. We could use this. We could use this. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't give them the choice. But usually I say, you stand a very good, you're a good student to come for the reading method, and then let's do your work after that, whatever remains. Sometimes it won't work that way. Sometimes I have the EEG machine as designed by Dr. Les Fimi. Sometimes I suggest it. Depends upon where a person are in their lives and in their journey, how far they've gotten along, or what block may be. I mean, if it's, intense grief, I've got to go with the old-fashioned, I hear you.
Oh, wow.
I've got to make sure they know another hears their grief and get through that as best I see, feel, hear how to do that as we go. So there's not one size fits all, believe me. And until I have you physically in front of me, I won't know. Eric Berne used to say, and I didn't meet him. He was off the planet when I came along and went into transsexual analysis. But he said that he had all kinds of plans for the next time this patient, his client, patient, student, comes in. And he opens the front door to let them in, and all the plans go away. He goes with what's in the moment. And I keep that in the back of my mind always, that what's going on right now that might lead us somewhere to, gold, to resolve it, to get it smooth, to get it pliable, working in their lives or out of their lives. So what I don't, when you ask me that, I have to pull to consciousness that which I do, which is so at the unconscious level. I do it automatically without having to think about it, like neuro-linguistic programming. I think that's in my DNA.
Yeah, once you understand it, it makes relating to other people simpler and easier.
And this is the hardest thing for me. The universal reading method is the hardest thing since NLP. I got so turned on by that when I met Richard Bandler and John Grinder, and mesmerized with it for about over a decade or maybe 2 decades. And then I kept saying, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And then neurosomatics came along, and I went into that and so forth and so on. And then I'd get back to there's got to be more. And I went into the neurofeedback machine with Dr. Les Fimis, fascinating work. And then the reading method came along, and I went, wow. Wow, this is
the
root. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. Yes. Have you ever had the electrodes hooked up to your mind?
Yeah, the neurofeedback has 5 sensors.
Yeah. You've had those electrodes on your mind. And you can see you what?
I own the machine, one of them.
Oh, wow. So does it indicate when your mind is at full capacity?
No, I'm not going to go there. This is Craig's day.
I know.
Let's you and me do one on Dr. Fimis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another one. Yeah. But I'm looking at it from a perspective is how is the understanding, because if you understand engaging the whole mind, the reading method is part of what that does in a natural format. So
it actually changes the brain organ. It makes physical changes that are discernible with the fMRI, the functional MRI machine. Mm-hmm. I don't have one available to me in Tampa, so I'm depending on UCSD and their research to keep break that background.
Right. Really, just really quick. Craig Collins has got it's called The Miracle. It's called The Reading Miracle. And Ree Anderson has used it and has studied it intensely for the last couple of years. And actually, if anyone has any questions right now, please put them in the chat, because it really, any feedback would give us an opportunity to just help one more person. And I really appreciate, Ree, you going into depth and using other modalities as a way of referencing how the reading method can actually enhance your life. And Craig, jump on, man. Get some internet connection and get on here.
Can he hear you, Robert?
I'm sure he can. He can hear me. Yeah. He just he's not on from a perspective. So
can you take a break and call him on the phone?
I could, but I think what we'll do is that we have got a lot of information. Yes, we don't have Craig right now, but I think we could do another one and get all the kinks worked out of it. I think I thought it was more on your side. My thoughts were not correct on that one.
Beg your pardon. You thought it was what?
I thought it was on your side that you would have the difficulties of getting on and being able to, and it wasn't you at all.
Well, stuff shifts, you know.
Well, I think that, you know why I don't believe, yes, stuff does shift. But in this particular case, we talked about this little Buddha in the back that's over there on your left-hand shoulder. And I'm saying that because what you did yesterday to get on this blab, I'm sure it took a lot of reading. And I'm quite sure you use the Buddha consciousness to to enhance your ability just to understand and to have you keep moving forward and learning. That's the amazing part, Ree. It is amazing.
Okay.
And I know, but not a lot of people at your age, they're too consumed in how their body feels. You're not there at all.
Well, I remember my drive has been, since a little person, the how. Like the day I left the country church and the minister had spoken of King Solomon and the 2 women with 1 baby. Well, the 2 women didn't intrigue me, nor the 1 baby. But what intrigued me was, how did he get the truth out of them? How did he do that? I was just mesmerized with, how did he know how to get the truth from the correct woman?
Mm-hmm.
Because he said, I'll cut the baby in 2 and give each of you a part. And the real mother said, oh, no, you don't have to do that. I'll give the baby up. And I just was, how did King Solomon, how did he know how to do that?
Yeah.
That was genius. That was wisdom. So I've been just about obsessed with how things are done. And so yesterday I just went into how do I get this to work?
Yeah. You went into the question. I think that was the biggest thing
and found the answer.
Yeah. The answer appeared. Yeah, you went into the question. And you know what?
Well,
and you even brought it up through the whole conversations. Where am I going to stick this little Buddha? And and I'm going, where are you going to stick it? And you were sticking it right where you needed it, because it needed to be there for higher consciousness. Just let it. It's like you surrendered inside of yourself to the circumstances that were being handed to you. And I just think that is amazing. I do.
Oh, thank you. I had not examined that process of yesterday. I just was glad we was
But a ton of wisdom there. A ton of wisdom just in the way you were being, not because you learned it all, because I could care less whether I do care that you learned it. I did. I'm really happy you did, because you wouldn't be here right now. But the point is that the way the process that you took on with yourself to see it through was a gift for me.
And you got to thank you. You got to watch it all the way through.
Yeah, I did.
From
your end. Yes. So nobody can give me any excuse around age, and they don't know.
No. See, for most of my life, the question was, what's your phone number?
Exactly. Most of our lives.
No, you haven't been female. What's your phone number? To now, how old are you? Well, how would that improve your life if you knew?
Well, how much? It improved my life by understanding that we are capable of learning and feeling those learning experiences, because that's the only thing that we're going to leave this planet with, is those feelings that we're able to feel inside of ourselves, and we're happy with those. And some of those, you left me with that yesterday, that do not, it's always important to have within yourself that I can do this. I know this.
Well, like I say, consciously I stayed with the how. How do I get this done? Mm-hmm. I know what we need. I know the outcome I'm going for. I've determined that. Now, how do I get there?
Very, very, very good. Very good. Well, I want to reschedule another blab with you, because I think it's really, really important, and we can get Craig on with us. I think it's.
Yeah. I've missed him.
I missed him too. And let's schedule a blab for next week. Would that be something that we could do maybe next Friday?
Wait a minute. Is that the 22nd?
That'll be the 22nd, or we can do it on the 25th.
22nd, I can hold open.
Okay.
I will hold open.
Well, let's hold the 22nd, and we're going to get Craig on, and that'll be good. I mean, we're really good. It was a very inspirational gift that you gave us today, and the people that came and joined. And I want to appreciate the audience that came. We had 73 people come here today, and it was a nice turnout for this method. And I think it needs to be heard again. And let's plan for next week at the same time.
All right. You've got it, Robert. And thank everybody for coming on
and
being with us today. And I can't speak for Craig, but I will say that I think you'll be able to email him with questions. You can email me with questions.
Yep. And we can get the questions out, and we get this was great because we brought in the depth, and we'll bring on next week some people that have already gone through the process and that can explain it. And you can explain it because you went through it. I did. We can get a couple other people on at the same time.
We can use the questions as a basis for how we go and where we go next time.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
I got the how, Robert.
You got it. Have a wonderful day, and thanks everybody for being here today. And
thank you so much.
Yes, and I'm Robert Allen McCrae, Ree Anderson, Craig Collins, and this is called The Reading Miracle. And thank you everyone for joining and listening in. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Bye, Ree.
Bye. Thank you, Robert.
You bet. Bye-bye.